Hi, I'm American Joe Metashevsky.
And I'm Brett Leininger.
We are here to talk about some unusual occurrences that happen while you're in the legislature. Every year someone says, what is the next session going to be like? I've been doing this a long time, and every session has its own personality, and there's always something unexpected. This past session, the unexpected events that were thrown at people was the passing of Mike Bush as Speaker of the House, which left a huge hole in the leadership of the Maryland General Assembly. Mike was the longest serving Maryland Speaker in its history, served for 16 years. And that just threw the legislature into turmoil. And it actually happened at the end of the session. So there was a lot of jockeying around. Brett and I will get into what it was like being down there when the actual the vote was being taken. But it was a history-making moment. We had the first African-American and first woman to be Speaker of the House in Maryland.
Yes, so with the passing of Speaker Bush, it took place, he passed away on the Sunday before the final day of session. So it really was a strange session in many ways. And with the first day of session was with the Senate President Mike Miller announcing that he had cancer. So as Joe said, that every session has its own tenor, its own personality. It is a very real thing, and this past session was definitely one for the books.
Mike, well, any speaker, but Mike Bush did a phenomenal job of keeping 140 legislators in line, if you will. The Republicans may differ on that opinion, but the Democrats certainly will say that Mike did a yeoman job. There have really been no challenges as far as the history for Speaker when you think about it. The way that this has unfolded is that Speaker Jones has very thoughtfully taken her time. She's taken the better part of the summer, and she announced in early September what her leadership team would look like. I guess the good news for most people is that all of the major chairs will remain the same. So that will give some continuity. But I like to look at these things in historical and numerical context. There are only 24 members in the legislature right now that served under another speaker. There are 117 who have known no other speaker other than Mike Bush.
Yeah, that's significant. It's just when Speaker Jones came in, she did press the pause button, took her time on making changes, and no chairs changed, but there were a number of changes that due to resignations of members that we referenced in a prior podcast. And I'll just go through a list of some of the more key names. Delegate Tawana Gaines, who is the vice chair of the Appropriations Committee, will become chairwoman of the Capital Budget Subcommittee. Delegate Mark Chang will be vice chairman of that subcommittee. Delegate Mark Corman will replace Tawana Gaines as chairman of the Transportation and Environment Subcommittee, and Delegate Carol Krim will become vice chair of that committee. Pat Young, Democrat from Baltimore County, will replace Corman as chairman of the Oversight Committee of Personnel, where he was previously the vice chair. Delegate Ben Barnes, Democrat from Anne Arundel and Prince George's County, will be elevated from vice chair to chairman of the Education and Economic Development Subcommittee. And Delegate Shelley Hedelman from Baltimore County will be vice chair. Finally, Delegate Michael Jackson, Democrat from Calvert and Prince George's County, becomes the vice chair of the Public Safety Subcommittee. So there's once one seat moves, you could just see the domino effect of all the changes that need to take place. The Environment and Transportation Committee, the committee vice chairman Dana Stein, Democrat from Baltimore County, will become chairman of the Environment Subcommittee. Delegate Jim Gilchrist, Democrat from Montgomery County, will replace Stein as chairman of the Natural Resources Subcommittee. Delegate Brooke Learman from Baltimore City, Democrat, who is moving to the Environment and Transportation. She's moving from the Environment and Transportation to Environment and Transportation from Appropriations, and she will chair the Land Use and Ethics Subcommittee. There are a handful of other changes that took place, people moving from one committee to the next. As you can see, it's a very busy time with the last election, as we've referenced in prior podcasts. A lot of new faces, now a lot of new faces in a lot of new positions. So, Joe, I don't know if you have any thoughts about just kind of how historic this is.
Yeah, I think, while it looks like it's been a very, a big uprising has taken place, about 31 changes at my last count have taken place, but there's a lot of talent in the legislature. And Speaker Jones did a great job, I think, of tapping people on the shoulder. You need to establish your team to go forward. I think that there was a good transition period where she got steadied in the office. There's a lot going on in that Speaker's office. Not only do you have to run the legislature, but you're almost required to go to every legislator's fundraiser. Every request for something special for a legislator comes through the Speaker's office. So it's a very, very demanding job. I think from the names that Brett read off, I think she did a wonderful job in picking the successors to these other jobs that she needed to fill. I'm looking forward to a real positive session. A lot of these people have great experience, not lengthy experience, but great experience in the areas of what they're doing. So when we were watching the proceedings of the election of the Speaker, it was amazing because, again, as I said, there was only a couple of dozen people that have ever been through this process before, and this had just been thrown in everybody's laps, and the vote trading and the mechanics that went on for hours. To those of us watching, it seemed like forever, but I'm sure those people in those caucuses, in those rooms, it probably went by like a flash. So we've got a new team. We're looking forward to working with them. I think things are looking up.
Thank you very much.